Shalom, shalom, everybody. It is Thursday, August the 8th, 2019. It is the 7th day of the 5th Hebrew month. If you're new to my channel, my name's Daniel Lee. I live here in beautiful, beautiful Juneau, Alaska. And this is my mission statement. I preach and teach the Hebrew Jewish roots of the Christian faith on my website, spiritandtorah.com. I exalt Jesus, Yahshua the Messiah. He is the only way, truth, and the life. I expose satanic pedophiles to investigative reporting on my YouTube channel. I provide satanic ritual abuse survivors a platform to speak out on. I protect the innocent children by virtue of these other things that I do. And I lead a nightly prayer group every single night. Brothers and sisters in Messiah, we meet on Zoom. We pray for President Trump, this nation, other subscribers, and each other. So I've gotten a ton of information now from various subscribers and been doing some digging myself on Dayton and all the children's hospitals that are in the metro area that I talked about yesterday. I'm going to start off with an email. I'll just use her first name, Tracy, because she hasn't given me permission to use her first and last name. But she noted that Les Wexner, you remember I reported on Les Wexner when Q brought him up a number of weeks ago. Les Wexner, of course, is in charge or was in charge of Victoria's Secret. Very close ties to Jeffrey Epstein. He is likely involved in the child sex trafficking and satanic pedophile issues that Epstein was also involved with. Les Wexner is from a Jewish family from Dayton, Ohio, with family and connections still there. I live and work with Columbus, Ohio area, within the Columbus, Ohio area as a registered nurse. The OSU hospital named a hospital building in his honor. He is also a board of OSU Health. Subjectively speaking, I do believe him and his family are high occultists. They have a mansion in New Albany, which is the richest part of Columbus, Ohio. I have friends of his neighbors say it's empty for weeks and months at a time, and they only use it for parties at night. I cannot confirm that, though. Thought this might help. So, Les Wexner, who has ties to Epstein, according to Q and the information that the Anons have dug up and has been confirmed, is from Dayton, Ohio. And again, I was talking about all the different children's hospitals that are located in the Cincinnati metro area, and as well as Ohio itself being a very big child sex trafficking hub. So then I got another information email from a lady named Meredith, and she pointed me to a few articles that we're going to go over here. The first one is Dayton Tunnels and the Occult. She writes here, it goes both ways, it goes both ways to Toledo, Dayton, Cincinnati, and from Toledo, you're maybe 90 minutes from Detroit and Windsor, Ontario. Cincinnati to Louisville, Kentucky, 2 hours and less, and 4 hours to Nashville. Dayton to Indianapolis, 1 hour and less, and then 3 hours to Chicago. Dayton area to Cleveland, 3 hours. Dayton to Columbus, 1 hour. Dayton to Pittsburgh, under 3 hours. I lived in this area for many years. In my job, I work closely with police and the fire department, many covens and occult dealings, and they work with the cartels, which also used Santeria. Again, from Toledo to Cincinnati are many colleges and universities, private and public. The cartels enroll students to be dealers, which also give access to human trafficking. So I want to go over some of these stories that I'm going to link right below this video so you guys can look at this as well. This first one was way back in May of 2008. It's called Dayton's Underground. The hustle and bustle of the city is just feet away from this place. You've driven by it, walked near it, even used it, but the sights and sounds of the city are silent in this place that lies beneath the city of Dayton. The place is Dayton's 800-mile-long underground storm sewer tunnel system. News Center 7 spoke with several homeless people who said they go into the tunnels to sleep, especially during the frigid winter. One homeless man said he brings his own light and blanket. He described the tunnels as Dayton's underworld, a city under a city. News Center 7 and WHIOTV.com were given unprecedented access to obtain exclusive video inside the large storm sewer tunnels. Some portions, too dangerous to enter, were videotaped by Dayton sewer workers. One section is so large they call it the, quote, gymnasium. It's enormous enough to play basketball in it and big enough to drive a truck through it. One homeless man who spoke anonymously said, I've walked back in there a quarter of a mile. It gets really dark in there. You can't see. You fear for your life. You never know what might come up out of that tunnel. We found rats scurrying on the tunnel floor, but it's surprisingly clean, cool, and quiet. A homeless woman who also wanted to remain anonymous has been in the tunnels too. I sleep in there. I lay the cardboard down, build it like a house, and sleep in it. The woman said she has seen rapes occur and witnessed drug abuse. Another homeless man said it can be violent. He said if the criminals don't get you, the water will. One sewer worker who escorted us into one large storm tunnel said if there was a sudden shower, this pipe would fill up fast and you'd be washed into the river and gone. The tunnels aren't just shelter for the homeless. David Williams, a retired Dayton police lieutenant who is a nationally recognized expert on the occult and gangs, believes something sinister occurred in the tunnels on October 13, 1994. That night, 26-year-old Philip Gall boarded an RTA bus near Huffman Avenue and Seminary Avenue and headed towards downtown Dayton to cool off after a fight with his wife. Williams said the RTA bus driver told police back then that Golly stepped off the bus near what used to be the Asylum nightclub on South Main Street in Dayton. There had been no sighting or sign of Philip Gall ever since. Williams said he went undercover inside the club in '94. He said the club attracted a large, gothic, vampire-like crowd. Williams said a club bartender came forward with a horrific tale. The story was that Gall was supposed to have been involved in an occult ritual in the upper floors of the bar and then was beheaded, and that head was sold as a relic for the occultist involved. Williams said the witnesses gave intricate details which made him believable to seasoned detectives. He, the bartender, said that he saw the head transferred in the bar for sale. Williams said the witnesses claimed Gall's body was placed in the storm sewer tunnels through an opening accessible inside the club. To try and prove it, Dave and other officers drove golf carts into the tunnels. Williams said, I can't say for sure, but we think we found some that were reasonably accessible to the bar. Williams said he did not find occult markings, but did find Philip Gall or evidence of Williams said he did find occult markings, but did not find Philip Gall or evidence of the crime. Kathy Gall, Philip's mother, still hopes for answers today. It's almost as if he just vanished off the face of the earth. The state of Ohio declared Philip Gall dead finally in 2002. This is more than 15 years after he disappeared. The story of what might have happened to him is known by the homeless who sleep in the large storm sewer tunnels where Gall may have been. A homeless man we spoke to said, I just heard some crazy stuff was going on down there. I went down there to find out and ran into some older guys down there drinking, and they gave me the whole story. The same homeless man said it's not just the homeless entering the tunnels. He said he's seen University of Dayton students in the tunnels partying. Williams and sewer workers told us students could make a deadly mistake going into the tunnels. So anyway, it looks like there was definitely a cult, satanic ritual, a cult that was going on in the tunnel system beneath Dayton, Ohio. Now, this next story was published just a couple of days ago, August 6, 2019. It says progress in Toledo, Ohio, which is the third largest city for child trafficking. Ohio facts on child exploitation. Lieutenant Jared Sutton of the Ohio State Highway Patrol reported the following facts on January 12, 2017, so 2 years ago. A large volume of vehicle traffic flows across the northern border of Ohio, especially on Interstate Highway 80. This is an opportunity for trafficking in people. Ohio overall is the fifth largest state for trafficking individuals in the USA. It's the largest demographic of trafficked individuals in Ohio. The largest demographic of trafficked individuals in Ohio is from 21 to 30 years old. The second largest cohort is 16 to 17 years old, and the third largest group is 13 to 15-year-olds. At least 4,000 calls were made to Ohio's trafficking hotline in 2016. The Ohio State Highway Patrol made stopping human trafficking a priority in 2017. So lots of human trafficking and child sex trafficking evidently that's been going on. I'll let you guys read. This is quite a detailed article. I'll let you read more of that as you'd like to dig into this. And then this other article was published in 2017, more than 600 children missing in Ohio. Nearly 20,000 children were reported missing in 2016, according to the 2016 Missing Children Clearinghouse report. Ohio had 19,902 children reported missing in 2016. Nearly all of the kids, 98%, were found safe, but 2 were discovered murdered, and more than 600 children remain missing throughout the Buckeye State, according to the 2016 Missing Children Clearinghouse report released Thursday by Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine. Children make up the majority of the state's missing persons reports from last year. Overall, there were 25,047 reports of missing people, but of those, 19,900 were missing children. 10,569 were girls, and 9,330 of them were boys. Okay, so lots of, and then it also says that of those recovered, a large number of minors were forced into sex trafficking. At least 1,000 minors are being forced to sell sex in Ohio alone. Nationally, some 100,000 minors are believed to be trapped in sex trafficking. So, again, a huge hotbed for sex trafficking, which I've reported on the past, but I'm building a story here. So I got this other email. Now this, I cannot reveal this guy's name. He didn't want me to reveal him, but I'm going to read what he sent to me. He said, "Hello, Daniel. Sorry this email's so long, but I thought you might like to hear a little about Dayton Children's hospitals and why it was expanded down I-75 and some other stories from when I worked there. Just so you keep confidential the personal info, just as you keep confidential the personal info of your two military contacts, I ask you to do the same." So I'm not going to say his name. I worked in the marketing department at Dayton Children's, the Children's Medical Center of Dayton, Ohio, from 2000 to 2011 as the staff photographer. As a member of the marketing department, I was privy to staff meetings where discussions were held concerning the expansion of the hospital from its main campus in Dayton proper to outlying areas in the community. In the early 2000s, hospitals in Dayton were being gobbled up by larger hospitals, creating hospital networks. As Dayton's only hospital dedicated to only children, Dayton Children's went on the defensive so as not to be swallowed up by Dayton's adult hospitals, and also to ward off being overtaken by both Cincinnati Children's to the south with the University of Cincinnati money and Columbus Children's to the east with Ohio State University money. Dayton Children's really was the little kid on the block, per se. The whole I-75 corridor in southwestern Ohio is rapidly becoming one megatropolis, with Cincinnati growing northward and Dayton growing southward. Dayton Children's felt extreme pressure from Cincinnati Children's, who opened a huge new facility north of Cincinnati on I-75. So Dayton Children's met this challenge by opening testing centers on I-75 in Springboro and Middletown in order to glean any potential patients south of Dayton to become Dayton Children's patients. So basically, there is a very valid economic business model that explains why there are so many children's hospitals and testing centers between Dayton and Cincinnati. But is there a seedier side to all this? One that includes child sex trafficking. Since being red-pilled, I am looking at my employment at Dayton Children's through a completely different lens. Some clues? Take a look at the former Dayton Children's logo attached. This is the one we had when I was there, and it's since been replaced. And I'll show you guys this logo. Okay, so that's the logo, and they've replaced it since, but that was a logo for many years. This is the one when I had when I was there, and after I left, it has since been replaced. A small child inside an adult arm. Is this a pedo symbol in plain sight? Seems creepy to me. We had one of our departmental holiday parties at a pizza joint by the University of Dayton. Approximately 10 people, 2 male and 8 female. Side note, our vice president was a graduate of UD, University of Dayton, and always had interns from UD in the department. During our holiday party, we played a game called What's Your Porn Name, where we had to combine the name of our first pet with the name of our street. It was very weird, but the vice president thought it was fun. I'm not sure how the interns felt. Being healthcare advocates for children, we would often have visits from state and federal elected officials and other advocacy VIPs. There was even a forum featuring Joe Lieberman's daughter right during the election when her dad was running as Agor's VP. Needless to say, our vice president would fawn all over any Democrat who visited, and there was major support advocacy for the CHIPS program, single-payer health care plans, and Obamacare. Side note, one forum we had included an Ohio representative, jacket-less Jim Jordan. What an honor it was for me to have been able to shake his hand. Yeah, Jim Jordan's a hero. Our vice president was also making a name for herself in the community, running for elected office and winning commissioner seats, once barely missing becoming mayor. I can vouch that she used a portrait photo in her campaign ads that was taken by the hospital staff photographer in the hospital photo studio. That's not quite right, is it? Is that even legal? It was during this photo shoot that she also outed her graphic designer as being gay. It was generally suspected that he was, but thanks to her, there was no doubt. That was awkward. Also, I don't know if he actually designed the creepy hospital logo, but I'm fairly certain he was at least on the logo design team that chose the pedo logo, since he held that position long before I started working there. Side note, Dayton can be a rather podunk community, so the logo design team may never have had a clue that their logo looks like it has a pedo symbol on it. Finally, as FLOTUS, Hillary Clinton visited Dayton's Children's in the mid-90s. The photos of her were some of our VP's most prized photographic archives. This was before I worked there, but you could tell that even years after the visit, our vice president was a big fan of Hillary Rodham Clinton. Is Dayton's Children's participating in child sex trafficking? All I can say is that I never saw or heard anything suspicious before, during, or after working there. But I was only a part-time employee, and my office studio was in another building, so I wasn't privy to everything. They have some of the best, nicest, and dedicated physicians. The support staff was all top-notch too. They have a lot of really good people working there. They have to be the best, or else parents will take their kids to Cincinnati or Columbus. I hold no animosity toward Dayton Children's after having worked there. Would I believe it if some of the higher-ups in the administration could be involved in child sex trafficking? It wouldn't surprise me at all. I hope this gives you a little insight on some of the inner workings at Dayton Children's while I was there. The hospital has expanded a lot since I left. I'm not sure where they are getting all the money to expand. I can remember that the Soin family were big donors back in the day. Again, please try to keep my identity private, and if you use any of this info in your videos. And so the history of expanding down the I-75 corridor, the creepy pedo logo, and Hillary Rodham Clinton's visit are really the only things actually worth mentioning and really stood out to me. Another rabbit hole, one of the biggest donors through the years of Nationwide Children's Hospital, Columbus Children's, is none other than Jeffrey Epstein's best friend forever, Les Wexner, right, which I covered earlier. You didn't hear that from me, but he has also been a huge donor to all things around Columbus. Yeah, and that's what I mentioned earlier in the video from another subscriber that pointed that out. So there's clearly a lot of, I guess you could say, circumstantial evidence. Obviously, I need to do some more digging on this, but I think maybe the Holy Spirit is leading me to see that there's definitely some potential that these children's hospitals that are all along that corridor, Cincinnati, Dayton, Ohio, throughout Ohio really, but especially in that area, are linked to child sex trafficking. Again, another reason why I think this mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio was probably connected and instigated by the satanic pedophiles themselves. Actually, I say they were. All right, if you like what I'm doing, if you appreciate what I'm doing, if you think I'm working hard and I deserve to be paid, this is my full-time career, which I love to do. And so the best way to help me out is my PayPal. That is a link right below my PayPal, my video. I also have a Patreon. You just click on my Patreon link below this video and you can pledge any monthly amount you'd like, and then that amount is taken out of your bank account at the end of each month. And then also, I have a P.O. box. If you're old school and you'd like to just send a donation by good old-fashioned snail mail, I have a P.O. box below this video as well. If you have a prayer request and you want us to pray for you, please email me. My email is also below the video, and you can email me that and I'll get it to our prayer team and we will pray for you. Thank you for all prayers, all support. I think there's definitely some things to continue to I need to dig in and investigate on this Dayton, Ohio and child sex trafficking link. There's stuff definitely going on there. All right, y'all bless you guys. Happy Thursday. Shalom, shalom.